We had day 1, day 2 of the protest. Like the video you just watched, an elderly woman of over 60 years on the streets protesting because of the demands. I mean, the high inflation rate, especially food, as well as, bad economic policies which resulted to that. Then talking about the insecurity and the farmers being unable to return back to their farms. That is the reason why this hunger is going higher than the roof. Now, the Nigerian government, in FCT, said that all protesters should leave the street to the National Stadium. But before we analyze this whole court order and the reason why the Nigerian police are using tear gas on the protesters away from the stadium, let's listen to this young man.
We cannot go inside because we know that as yes, the police said bomb was planted somewhere and they found it. And now they want to resource here. And the CP have just gone in to say the place is safe. But we know that the CP is not an anti-bomb expert. And so there are bombs that can explode immediately. There are bombs that can explode in 5 hours time. So if we must go in, the CP will have to be there with us till we finish, so that when we die, we all die together.
Now, before the first day of the protest, we had the Nigerian police saying that an IED was discovered somewhere in Lagos as a bomb, and they were able to swiftly run into that location and deactivated it. It was a news that cut across everywhere. But many believe that it was a tactic from the government and the police to deter people from coming out to protest, since they believe that there is a number of people, hoodlums, miscreants, who are planning to, destabilize the peaceful protest. But then, just like you hear this young man, it is another thing that the people are also thinking, that if they get into that stadium, something may happen. This would now bring me to the video where Deji gave a press briefing yesterday, being the second day of the protest at the National Stadium.
Talks since last week. The government refused to listen. We told them that the situation in the country is now different from 2020 when they recruited thugs, and thugs only came to attack protesters. So now Nigerians are extremely hungry. That if they recruit thugs, the thugs will refuse to go back home because they are hungry and they will have to loot. So they look at the FCT, who were just attacked in Bega. We were conducting ourselves very peacefully. It's like there's a directive. I'm now inclined to believe the directive that they said was given to the FCT Commissioner of Police by Wiki, that he should just cause mayhem on the Federal Capital Territory. But I cannot understand where protesters are protesting peacefully and police just come and violently start using brute force against protesters. It is completely unacceptable. Protesters in the FCT, same thing happened at the 3-arm area yesterday. We were being peaceful, we were protesting peacefully, and the police started firing tear gas non-stop against protesters. Nigerians, the government in particular, must hold the Inspector General of Police accountable for these acts of violence all across the country. In Borno, where we have spoken to so many comrades, in Kaduna, in Gombe, and even in several parts of here in the FCT, in Suleja, in Nyanya, the protesters were attacked unprovoked, and these protesters are unarmed. So why are you using brute force against them? Why was brute force used against us yesterday at the 3-arm area? Why was brute force used against us today at Bega? For what precisely? Are we not permitted to protest in our own country? What is the crime of protesters for just coming out to express their grievances?
No, but they are saying, the government is saying there is a court order restricting you to the National Stadium. So why would you converge at Bega?
Yes, because they made staying here impossible yesterday. They brought thugs here yesterday. That was why we had to leave here. Protesters took steps yesterday to comply with the positive order of the court. But the government, they recruited thugs and they dropped them just here, right here. And they were now trying to get protesters to go into the stadium so that they can lock protesters inside the stadium. And we said it's not a football match. Protesters are not here to play football. They are here to protest. So it is the government. The government must commit that they will not bring thugs to the stadium so that protesters can stay around and within the vicinity of the stadium and protest. If the government does not give this commitment, protesters will be forced to move around the city.
So just like you can hear him over there, it is just funny from the government. You know that to actually curtail the hoodlums trying to vandalize and all of that. That was why Sowore said, let's make use of the Eagle Square. The Eagle Square is very open enough. But we all understand the fact that Eagle Square is less than 4 kilometers away from the seat of power. Or let's say, from where the president lives. And so therefore, it is more like a seat of power, and you wouldn't want anybody to protest close to the residence of the president. This is the reason why they wouldn't want you to protest close to Eagle Square. And we all understand that. But telling people to go and stay inside a building to protest, you know, is something that many Nigerians wouldn't want to fall for that trap. Let's look at what happened in Kenya in 2007, 2008, where William Ruto, the current president, was indicted and accused to have masterminded the murder that happened in Kenya, where people were being kept in a church and were set ablaze. Among a lot of atrocities that happened in Kenya as of that time, which this case went all the way to the ICC. But we all saw how this was, you know, dismissed and everybody went their own way. And now he is the president of Kenya. And we saw the protest that happened in Kenya just a month ago. So why will you now tell people to go into a building when you already had an intelligent report and you deactivated a bomb in Lagos? So do you believe that these people will actually go inside that building, and then if something happened there, you now target as them trying to destroy the government properties? This is the narrative, and it is more logical, as in you can reason in that line, like, no, it's not going to happen. And just like Deji said, that thugs were dropped in front of the National Stadium on day one, so they cannot go inside. And they also have intelligence that people were going to come out as of even yesterday, you know, to destabilize the protests and all of that. But in all of this, what do we stand to gain at the end of all of this if we are not listening to the people, talking about the government? I think the president ought to address the nation. You have been planning to protest because of the hunger and all of that. You have hit the streets, you protested, I've heard you. And secondly, I have increased the minimum wage. I have done this, I have done that. The refineries will kickstart. Talking about the fuel subsidy removal, which is the root of all this problem. People are saying reduce the price. Okay, fine. We will make sure that between now and this time, the refineries will start working. The prices of the fuel will come down. We are supporting the Dangote refinery now to kickstart immediately. So when you said that and you give a timeline, I can bet you the Nigerians are going to leave the streets. But it's so unfortunate that it seems like some people are advising the president, as many people believe, not to address the country. What do you make of this? Let's have this conversation in the comment section. Thank you for watching.